This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Hey, it's a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
You know, in sports, how a team can protest the game.
Hasn't happened in a while, but yes.
You can protest the game. I feel like I need to do that today with today's show. Do you want to know why?
Does it have anything to do with the opener?
It has a lot to do with you.
Oh. I know why.
Because I'm now worried. I want to protest this show. I want everybody to know, if this is my last show, if I never host A's Cast Live again, I want to tell you what an honor it was to be a part of building this. You know how much I love the Oakland Athletics. I love the fan base. I love everybody. I've been very proud of what I've been able to do around this franchise, and this is my final words to you. Thank you for everything that you did for me and my family, because I've never done a show before with somebody who is checking their temperature before the show started. Literally a grown man, like how like my kids and like my wife, like, get that thermometer. Oh my God, they feel a little hot. All right. The hell was that?
It sounds like a talkback coming from in here. Giants game's coming on soon.
Oh, we getting giant talk inside here? Oh, you guys stink. How about that? Yeah, we're actually getting the Giants talk back right now.
Interesting. I don't know how to turn that off.
Do you think they can hear us? Hey, how you feel about Carlos Correa? You wish maybe we're talking to Giants people. How you feel about Carlos Correa? You want to put him on the Wall of Fame? Who does he get to go next to? Are you bummed you didn't get him for 13 years when he said I probably wouldn't want to play for him for 13 years.
And now he's hurt again.
They're not responding.
Yes, I think we're good. Or maybe they're just ignoring
We're
us.
going to have to hear them, but they can't hear us.
Yeah. I don't know how to turn that off.
Wouldn't that be great? Like, do you remember the Muppets?
Yes.
And how the old guys would sit up in the balcony and rip everybody?
Yes, I forget their names, though.
Me too. Wouldn't that be great if that could be us for, like, the Giants broadcast? And just be peppering them with analytics and numbers of saying why they're bad.
Statler and Warduff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if we could do that? Like all of a sudden they got whoever. I mean, who's doing the game today?
Isn't it Rich Aurelia? Oh, you're talking about actually on the game?
Yeah, I'm talking on the game, not the pre and post.
I'm not
like
sure.
On the game. Like we're above them. Like Kruk and Kipe. We're above Kruk and Kipe going, no, I'm not buying that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's in the game.
Hey, how many games has Haniger played? Huh? What?
Actually,
just rip him. How's B-Craw doing? Huh? Is he hitting his weight yet?
Casey Schmidt's going to come back down to earth.
Oh, yeah. Casey Schmidt's and us. Brent Rooker.
First of all, Haniger has played. He's had 85 at-bats. He's hitting a cool 200.
Yeah, how many games?
Mitch Haniger.
Mitchie ball game.
23.
He's played in 23 games. How many games has Haniger played in? What a great time that was. Huh?
In the last year plus, he's played in 80 games.
Hey, you guys want Madison Bumgarner back?
He's available.
That would be awesome. That would be like a dream job. You get to sit on top of the Giants broadcast and rip them.
They're playing at American
Not
Family.
Rip the broadcasters, rip the team.
They're playing at American Family Insurance Field. You know it as Miller Park. They changed the name.
They got a problem with their yard. Did you know that?
I saw something on Twitter.
Yeah,
about it.
that ballpark's
not even that old.
All I know is whatever happened with Twitter and algorithms, I just get like random stuff now. I got this like random news alert that there's an issue that Major League Baseball is telling Miller Park, or what do you call it now?
American Family Insurance Field.
Oh, my God. Whatever, the Brewers Yard. They should call it the Brewery. If I was running marketing for the Brewers, I'd call it the Brewery. That they've got issues that they need to like do something to it. Now, a quality journalist that has time and cares about the Brewers would have read the thing that was sent to me. I didn't read it, so I don't know what needs to be fixed. I know they've had problems with their retractable roof at some point, but
Was it the FedEx guy's fault?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm saying because of Braun blaming the FedEx guy on his tainted sample.
Oh, I don't think was it a FedEx guy?
I thought it was.
I thought it was DHL, but whatever. I don't know what's wrong with their yard, but if they got to fix it, if baseball's telling you got to fix your yard, am I the Brewers? And I start going, wait a minute, are the Oakland A's still playing in Oakland?
Fair, yeah.
You're going to tell us we got to fix our yard? I'm not sticking up for the Brewers, and I'm not trying to rip us. I just don't know how baseball can tell the Brewers. Find out what is the problem with this, that we can play where we play, but they've got a problem with their yard?
First of all, I want to see what they opened in 2001. It's 22 years old. Where's this at?
What do they need?
Well, wow. Let's see. Manfred could threaten Brewers with relocation as part of push for ballpark updates. This ballpark's 22 years old. What's wrong with it? The renovations, upgrades to the seating areas, concourses, and gathering spaces will cost an estimated $428 million over the course of the next 20 years. The current lease of the Brewers and American Family Field runs through 2030, and such an agreement would extend the lease through 2043. So it just needs renovations?
Well, I remember years ago, back in my sports talk days, where I was at the Shark Tank. It was before the playoffs. Well, it was during the playoffs, but I was doing a show before the playoffs.
That's SAP Center for everyone who doesn't know the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank to me, whatever tech company you want to call it, it's a Shark Tank. I don't remember what station I was working for.
So it would have been radio. Obviously, it wasn't sports.
Radio. Yeah, I don't know what station.
Let's be real. It probably was KMBR because 95.7. We didn't.
Wasn't KMBR. It was after that. It might have been the early stages of 95.7 the game, or when I was on 860. Whatever. Might have been 860.
So we didn't talk hockey at the other station.
So I'm doing this pregame. I'm doing this talk show before the Sharks game. And the guy who at the time runs the Shark Tank gave me a tour. Now, I have lived in the Bay Area my entire adult life. I moved here to go to San Jose State. And by the way, shout out San Jose State baseball and Coach Filippo, let me tell you what Coach Flip. We got to have Coach Flip on.
When's the Mountain West tournament start? I know Pac-12's going on right now.
Let me give you a little, and I know this is breaking news inside the world of the athletics, but I think you guys can all respect this. San Jose State, Brad Sanfilippo was named Mountain West Coach of the Year for the first time in his career.
I knew they were having a good year.
Coach Flip is a Bay Area kid. He grew up here. He went down to San Diego, played at Mission College. That's where I met him, playing in a summer league, coached at Cal. Everybody in the Bay Area baseball world, especially in the amateur level, knows Brad. He's an outstanding guy and is really turning San Jose State around during some hard times, too, when, facilities are changing and they're redoing some facilities. So we got to get Brad on the program. You know what? Let me set that up. But San Jose State baseball, 6 Spartans named to the all-conference team.
Was one of them their big second baseman, McAdoo?
Yes, Charles McAdoo.
He's a good player. I watched him play this year against Cal Poly up at Muni. Excite Ballpark, where the San Jose Giants also
number 1 seed in the Mountain West. Well, okay, so I've been here basically since I got out of high school, basically, almost. So I've been here a long time, and I got here before the Shark Tank was built. You knew the San Jose Sharks, of course, because of all your years you claim to be a Sharks fan. you know that the Sharks played at the Cow Palace first.
Correct.
And I'm sure you attended games as such a huge Shark fan. And your friends were all such huge Shark fans. You went to games at the Cow Palace.
I have all the games. Ruzanowski gave me all the tapes on cassette, and I've listened to them all back.
So I predate the Shark Tank. I watch it get built as I have lived my entire adult life in the city of San Jose, whether it's been downtown or all the different places that I've lived, all the debauchery that we did downtown for about 7-8 years. Downtown San Jose back in the day was a great time. But my point is, so the Shark Tank's been around a long time. It's not saying, the Sharks are talking about getting a new facility. Well, I got the tour, talk about this show. I got the tour, and what the guy told me was one of the reasons why the arena has aged so well is that they're constantly working on it. They're constantly redoing everything. So it never, when you go into the Shark Tank versus Oracle also redone, but Oracle looks old.
Oracle Arena, not Oracle Park, right?
Well, it's now Oakland Arena. But
yeah.
Oracle, Roracle, over the years, like I haven't been in it in a while, but I was in it a lot doing all those Warriors games. It looked old. And they renovated the whole thing. Well, you got to admit, when you go to the Shark Tank, it does not look like an old arena.
No, and they just redid the ice, I think, last year. They did a whole thing with the ice and stuff.
But what you go into the bars, you look at all the carpeting, you look at, that's not what you're going to say about the Oakland Arena or the Oakland, the Coliseum. I can just bring in my booth, the Ace Cacks booth, and they got duct tape on top of on the freaking carpet. It's ridiculous. But that was the one thing they've always redone it and always worked on it and have always made it still suitable to where all the concerts that go there, because, for years they would play at Oakland Arena. We called it Oracle for years, but they would play there and then come to San Jose, right? Disney on Ice, play there and then come there. So you would do both sides of the bay. So Milwaukee sounds like they haven't done anything. If it's so bad that it was built in 2001, what also was built in 2001?
SBC
or
Global,
2000.
Pac Bell.
Pac Bell opened in 2000, right?
I think PNC Park's right around there too.
I've never heard anybody say that, oh boy, you're going to have to redo Pac Bell Park that you now call Oracle Park.
Yeah, I've never heard anything about it. I think.
No, they don't, because they don't.
The only thing they've done,
the Giants constantly make their ballpark awesome.
Yeah, they just redid their scoreboard not that long ago.
Did I just really say that?
Yeah.
I did.
Well, you're trying to get the people in the talk back to hear you. Well, if they're like, yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah. Shut up, Townsend. Wear it. But, yeah, seriously, it's a great ballpark. It always has been. And you know what? I don't go there a lot. I opened the ballpark for all you Giant haters who want to hate on me, you Giant people. I was one of the first voices ever out of Pac Bell Park. So I was around it when it first opened up. And when I go to it, I haven't been to it in a few years. But when we go to it, and we'll go back this year, it looks the same. They've done a great job. If they're telling you, we don't think you've let it go, how bad would you have to let that go if the ballpark just opened in 2001?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking.
There's got to be this would not be a story. This has got to be I'd be very curious, unless this is purely just the team is trying to use baseball to go after the city or whatever. But it sounds like they're not talking about player stuff.
No,
they're not talking about clubhouses, medical rooms, training rooms, that kind of stuff. They're talking about, dude, the place looks like a dump now.
Here's what it says. This is a quote. Major League Baseball has told the Milwaukee Brewers that they need to repair American Family Field to ensure it remains an MLB caliber ballpark. While the league did not give the Brewers an explicit ultimatum, it was made clear the MLB will not allow American Family Field to deteriorate, and then they mentioned the Coliseum.
Oh, we got Mitch.
So there you go. I don't know how bad. I mean, I've never been there. We actually go there next weekend.
We go there next weekend?
No. 2 weeks from now. It goes Miami, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. Because you know what I'm thinking? Johnny Dosco. Johnny on the spot. Johnny, Lock the stadium. What's wrong with it? Do you see anything wrong?
Yeah, it's a good.
We'll have boots on the ground.
He'll be there.
By the way, my computer is not working. Who do we have on the show today? Mark Simon.
Mark Simon and Eno Sarris.
When's he coming on?
4:30.
And then the great Eno Sarris
at 5:30.
A couple news about the Oakland Athletics. I don't like to do it, but, we got to talk about it. The A's have yet to lose 8 in a row this season, so maybe they can snap that.
It's positive.
Mariners have gotten back to 500 and over 500. Why? Because of the A's. They've dominated the A's this year. They've out-homered the A's 9-1. The A's have won all 6 meetings. The Mariners have won all 6 meetings against the A's this year. Not good. A.J. Pollock is having a career this year against the A's.
It's always the bottom of the order guys that have been killing.
You're
the
calling
team.
the great A.J. Pollock a bottom of the order guy?
And in this state of his career, yes, he's a bottom of the order guy.
A.J. Pollock is 8 for 16. My San Jose State math says that's 500.
Who's a bigger ace killer, him or Martin Maldonado this year?
2 home runs, 6 runs scored for A.J. Pollock against the A's this year.
He doesn't play against anyone else, but when we come to town or they come here, he's in the lineup.
A's are on pace to lose 130 games. That has to change. Can I just say something? No, I haven't had coffee yet, so I'm not going to go. We've now established that sometimes I get a little excited in the post-game show that I explain it's like a runner's high. It's called a sports talk show host high, where you get on a rant and you start feeling yourself and you just go. And you lose track of everything that's going on because you're so into what you're saying. You love your job. You're so into it. And then all of a sudden, you kind of like come up for a breath and it's almost like you like awake from a coma and you're looking around and you're going, where am I? What am I doing? Oh my God, we haven't gone to a commercial break. I've been talking for 25 minutes straight. I did it the other night. It happens every so often where you just go on something and you're passionate and you go and you lose track. And when you're in a room by yourself, you got to realize when you're in a room, we're in a room by ourselves. When you're by yourself and there's nobody else there, you have no idea what all of you are thinking. I can't see you. I just have my little world that I'm in, and usually good producers just let you go. He's on a roll, let him go. Well, I did that the other night where all of a sudden it was like I came to again. Where am I? What do we do? Where are we at? Oh, you let Korak go. You went on a rant and you went for 25 minutes and didn't break for a commercial. So every once in a while that happens. It happens.
I don't find an issue with it, especially in our world. We can go as long as we want.
Yeah, I'm used to doing solo stuff, and every once in a while, I get a little caffeine in me, and away we go.
As I remember you telling Greg from Slow, because I was listening on my way back from SFO, you only had a cup and a half of coffee that night.
I had one of my bigger cup. I have my Baseball Hall of Fame coffee mug, which is basically so on my Ninja coffee maker. There's the extra large. I think it's like a cup and a half, and I make that and I slurp that down for. How do you think I get ready for post game? I'm doing shows hours before. You got A's Cast Live, then you got the pregame show. You don't come back on for hours later. You need a little pick me up. Now in the 80s in our business, they did something else for a pick me up, but we don't do that now in our business.
Well, neither of us were old enough to even do that in the 80s.
I've heard stories of what DJs and what people in the music industry used to do in the 80s to get their pick-me-up, and it's like, wow. For me, I pound the coffee, and I'm ready to rock. Getting back to 130 losses on pace. At some point, it's almost like I want to go into the clubhouse. Kind of like stroll in and, hey, how you guys doing? How's everything? Everything great? Yeah, it's great. How are we doing? Everything good? How's the family? How's everything? And then at some point look and go, do you have any pride? Do you have any pride? Are you, and I can't be too loud because the Giants people are right on. Do you have any pride? You want to get your ass kicked every day? Are you having fun with this? At what point are you going to look around and say, you know what? No one's coming to help me. No one. It's not Kotze's fault. It's not Emerson's fault. It's not Tommy Everidge's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. You guys are players. Your job is to go out and succeed. That's your job. Your job is to show up and succeed. That's what we pay you for. I don't care how much we pay you. You know what I would get? You know what I would give? You know what would be a great Christmas gift early for the A's in their clubhouse?
Isn't Christmas like, go ahead, 7 months from now, but go ahead. I think exactly 7 months from now.
There's a great book. It's a book about Vince Lombardi. And the title is When Pride Mattered. If I could take Vince Lombardi, bring him back in a time machine, and put him into the A's clubhouse, do you think Vince Lombardi would want to hear about payroll?
No.
Do you think Vince Lombardi would want to whine in about this and that? I'm a little hurt.
No.
No. Vince Lombardi didn't care about that kind of stuff. Vince Lombardi was a stickler for details, and the stickler for details, and you do the little things, and the little things lead to big things, which lead to wins. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves. Stop. You know what? You're the players. You're the problem. I got all the data you need. You're the problem. You're the ones playing. You're the ones hitting. You're the ones pitching. You're the one, Hey, 9 out of our 13 position players are 28 or older. That's over half. Your agents signed with the A's, and none of them said you were going to be bad when you signed those contracts. I mean, this is on you. This is on the players. I keep talking about the coaches got to coach them up. I get it. But at some point, you got to look at these players and say, this is your career. This is you want to play old baseball cliches. This is what's going on the back of your baseball card. I mean, you want to go down the lineup today? Oh, Tony Kemp's hitting 164. Seth Brown's just back. This is supposed to be a big year for Seth Brown. He's hitting 205. At least we don't have to talk about Aletmus Diaz hitting. What's he hitting? 180?
Yeah, but he's hitting like 300. But it says in the notes he's hitting like 300 since he came back from the injured list.
Peterson's hitting 207. I mean, and even the young guys. Hey, Langoliers. I like how you've hit some home runs, but 208's not going to cut it. Nick Allen, got to get better. Hey, Nick Allen's been better. Great. Peter's still hitting 205. There's got to be some accountability. There has to be. At some point, the players got to have some pride. Give them the book When Pride Matters, to where every day you got to show up and you have to have the feeling that it's refused to lose. Ken Waldachuk yesterday striking out the side, the next inning giving up 5 straight was a joke. That's a joke. That's not competing.
How many runs do you think the team has scored in the last 6 games?
God, I went over it last night because they scored 3 in Houston. Hold on, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
They scored 3 in Houston.
Correct.
I'm going to say they've scored 8.
8 runs in 6 games.
Do I have anything in front of me?
No, 8 runs in 6 games. You're not going to win a lot of games only scoring 8 runs.
And the pitching. And the bullpen actually is getting people out.
Yeah, here's the most alarming one. You know what the team's ERA is on the road? 7.99. So we'll round it up to 8.
I don't know if the team's ERA.
No, I mean overall the team ERA is 6.95 through 51 games. Starters 7.28. Bullpen 6.57.
You scored 8 runs on a road trip.
Yeah,
and
tonight's the last game.
Yeah, 8 runs. I mean, and by the way, you're going up against Logan Gilbert.
He's pretty good.
You want to wait for his curveball? You want to wait to get to his curveball?
No,
you don't.
I don't.
You don't want to get to that curveball, the traditional right-handed Uncle Charlie 12-6. Batters are hitting 432 versus it. That's a batting average of 125, which is the 4th lowest of any curveball in Major League Baseball.
Pretty good.
You want to get to that? I'm just saying, at some point, you got to look around and you got to say to yourself, You got to have some pride. You got to get tired. I mean, don't you get tired of losing? Don't you just get tired? I mean, because being, I don't want to say being a loser, but losing can be contagious too, to where you just get broken down and it's just the same thing night after night after night, and you start accepting it. I mean, you're 10-41. You accepting it? Are you the solution or the problem? That's where everybody has to ask themselves. Am I the solution or am I the problem? And you know what? At this point, does anybody want to hear that they're working hard?
No.
Does anybody want to hear that? Do you want to hear that they're working hard? We're working hard. Well, that's great. That's great. Congratulations. It gets to a point too where we have all had to like wear it as A's fans. Like, we're embarrassed as A's fans. You know what? Put it on them. They're the ones who are embarrassing, not us. Not us. It's players. They're the ones failing. I haven't thrown a pitch this year. You hadn't had an at-bat. Right field Will probably tried to sneak into the clubhouse somewhere, but he hasn't played.
Road Trip Mike hasn't played.
Road Trip Mike, God dang it, is spending his money out there. He's helping the economy. Where's your guy James? He's not even right field James anymore. I don't even know what he is.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure.
Can't even, the 68s are now the 86s. Well, you're gonna get on them? Last dive bar? They did. Has Last dive bar taken that bat?
I don't think so. I don't know if I can find that on Baseball Reference.
So
I'm gonna go with no.
This is technically not about us. It's about the players. So I get it. Everybody's going to look at Oakland. You know what? Take Oakland's name out of it. Take the A's name out of it. This is the players. It's them. It's them who are struggling. It's them who can't win. It's them who can't hit. It's them who can't pitch. At least the fielding's gotten better.
Yeah, I will say that. I've noticed that too. It's gotten a lot. But they've had 2 errors over their last how many games? I think it is.
I have somewhere in my garage the book When Pride Mattered. Maybe you should read it. Maybe everybody with the A should read it. Players, When Pride Mattered. You know, this is something maybe we'll get into. Guys lose real easy these days. NBA teams, bad teams, they lose easy like it's no big deal. Maybe that's something that's different, you know, and every single time we're crapping on the yesteryear players and we're talking about how great that today's modern day players are, maybe we need to talk about, you know, tanking and losing, whether it's us, whether it's NBA teams, whether at least in football, you got to go out there and still be a man and not get your ass kicked every night. You're still going to get hit by another grown man every single game. There's no way. The physical violence of football, whether you're winning every game or losing every game, you can't escape that. Baseball, basketball, man, Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to ask a guy next who's absolutely brilliant. I guarantee it. We'll see what he has to say right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop in Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together.
Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today.
What's the material?
Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Innovation is at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Bring the whole family. Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
All righty. Mark Simon joining us. Once again, it's been a while. Sports Info Solutions. I was saying the other day, Mark, I'm like, we haven't had him on in a long time. You're talking about one of the more brilliant guys in sports. It's great to have you back on the program.
I appreciate it. I'm happy to come on, even under not so great baseball circumstances. Let's talk some ball.
And just to let people know, this man, it's just not baseball. He used to supply me with great stuff when I was on the Raiders broadcast. He used to give me great NFL/Raiders stuff.
Yeah, well, I have 20-something years of experience in television media side. So, yeah, admittedly, my NFL knowledge has fallen off a bit, but my baseball knowledge, thankfully, is still here to talk about some, I guess, interesting statistical things. That's what you usually like to talk to me about.
Yeah, and before we get into stats, you heard what I was just talking about. Like, at some point, guys got to look themselves in the mirror and be like, I'm tired of getting my you-know-what kicked every single night, no matter what the numbers are. I mean, you want to shut – baseball is a sport every single day. It's not like football where you lose once a week. You're losing every night. I mean, at what point do you look and say, hey, my career's on the line. We got to win some games here.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm qualified to comment on something like that. This is a rough roster, in fairness, particularly – on the pitching side. I think the people that are there need to understand what the circumstance is, and if you talk to anyone in the mental health field, acceptance and understanding what the situation, the difficulty of a situation that you're in, is extremely helpful in helping you get through that situation. That is how I would describe the predicament that is the Oakland A's right now.
You know, one thing that you've been doing really help broadcast, and I know we use it, and Dallas Braden on our broadcast talks about all the time, is information on umpires. Kind of something when we were kids growing up, they'd say he's a high ball ump, he's a low ball ump. But there are a lot, I mean, umpires are human beings. They have certain consistent traits, things that they do on an everyday basis, whether it's behind home plate or out there, no matter which bag they're patrolling. Just talk about the information you've been delivering now for years about umpires.
Sure. If you watch at the start of the game, Dallas will usually talk to a graphic that comes on the screen that describes who the home plate umpire is. Tonight, he's going to do it for Corey Blazer. Corey Blazer is a pitcher-friendly umpire. How do I know that? I've looked at the data. You can look at essentially a heat map for him that tells you when a pitch is thrown to this spot, how often does he call it a strike? And Corey Blazer has some tendencies, particularly at the top and the bottom of the strike zone and a little below and a little above, where he's calling things at a pretty high rate. Like he's going to get that pitch right that's at the very top of the zone. He's going to get the pitch that's right at the very bottom of the zone, but he might get that pitch that's a little below and a little above. And Dallas likes to talk about things like that. And if you look at the heat maps that we create, which is what we give to Dallas to be able to make these that make the analysis, you can see it. Plus, you can see it in very basic stats. Corey Blazer has umpired 9 games this season. He's been the home plate umpire. And the ERA in those 9 games is 3.15. The major league ERA is about 4.5. So, ergo, he's doing certain things tendency-wise in how he's calling a game that are going to be favorable to a pitcher, maybe not for the entirety of a game, but at certain key moments in a game when that guy needs that pitch that's at the very bottom of the zone and the catcher tries to frame it, Corey Blazer is probably more likely to make that call than the guy that you might have had like a couple of days ago, Carlos Torres. He's very hitter-friendly umpire. He squeezes to the zone. And it's something that players know, and it's something that pitchers know, and I can tell you for sure it's something that catchers know because I've talked to them about it, and they're aware of which umpires are going to be friendly to them and which umpires may not. And as you said, it's the human element.
I got to tell you, as a former pitcher, I want the guy where the heat map's everywhere.
You want Bill Miller and Doug Eddings.
I want Eric Gregg in that playoff game against the Braves for Levon Hernandez. I want the biggest heat map you've ever seen.
So what's interesting about that is if you think about that, though, if the hitter knows that the umpire is going to call a lot of strikes, he's looking to swing early. So the guys that are the very pitcher-friendly umpires sometimes, they'll have the higher ERAs because hitters are swinging first pitch, second pitch, because they don't want to get deep in a count with whatever Bill Miller, Doug Eddings behind the plate because they know they're going to be in trouble if they get that far. So it's kind of a psychological game between hitter, catcher, pitcher, umpire, and Dallas talks it up pretty well.
I got to tell you, Will Clark has addressed this recently with Eric Burns, former A's outfielder, on their network. And he was going back and forth with Brandon Crawford because Brandon Crawford went, Will, you couldn't hit in this era. And Will Clark's like, you kidding me? Everything's got to be in that box. Everything's got to be. He goes, in my era, nothing had to be in there. There was no box. There hadn't be the box. And going to what you're talking about, Will Clark or any of those players, before we started really getting into technology, umpires would call them outside. I mean, we could see how far Maddox and Glavine would get on certain nights, and that made hitters go outside of their strike zone. We've now seen a big change because now the umpires are being graded, whether it's the box or not. However they get graded, they're getting graded on it. So as a let's just say this. Does a hitter have a better idea now more than they've ever had before exactly what their strike zone is?
I would think so. And I would think there's another thing that comes into play, and it's essentially what you're talking about. Corey Blazer's been an ump for a little while. There are a fair number of veteran umps in baseball now. The guys that you see that get called up now are very much box guys. They're calling the strike zone to the rule book very much. So if you have one of these younger umpires, Pat Hoberg's a good example, and he seems to be very well liked. Those umpires are calling very tight strike zones that are essentially the definition of what the strike zone is supposed to be, which if you're a hitter, I'm guessing you probably like that a lot.
So I'm thinking about, we're talking about the automated strike zones coming, but the younger we get, with umpires and the better they are at calling inside the box, are we going to get to a point to where we've gotten rid of the older guys and the younger guys perform so well, maybe we don't go to the automated strike zone?
Yeah, there seems to be an impatience for it, though, and that would make me think that it's coming sooner than later. But I think it's my guess. I have no inside information. This is just an educated guess. Is that it's going to be like the challenge system? That it'll be like you get a certain number of challenges on pitches per game, and if you use one, they go to a video display and you figure out whether it was a strike or a ball. I don't think they're going to eliminate the guy behind the plate in terms of calling balls and strikes. I think it would be too much of an inconvenience. You would get some really strange calls. There's the possibility that the technology could malfunction at an inappropriate time, and you don't want that. I think that it's important for the human being to be there, and I think that's what they'll wind up doing.
You've brought something to our attention that I had no idea about, but it's actually really scary. You know, we sit in this world now where we talk about exit velocity, barrel rates. Everybody's trying to hit the ball as hard as they can. And you forget about this pitcher. They're not 60 feet, 6 inches. A lot of these guys are tall guys. So when you think about by the time guy comes down the mound, releases the ball, and he's out on his left foot, I'm talking about a righty or a by the time he's 50, maybe whatever feet away from this ball coming back at 110 miles an hour. And you're saying your guys' data that pitchers are getting hit more now than ever before. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, so just to explain the context of our company, we're a data analytics company that we deal with more than 20 major league teams, NFL teams, NBA teams. We do stuff with broadcast crews. We provide umpire information. We do defensive stats. We do all sorts of different things. But our injury data is really impressive. We track everything from just a foul ball off a catcher's mask to the more serious, the stuff that's more serious, like this. And one of our guys saw one of the Phillies hitters, Nick Castellanos, nearly decapitated Ryan Feltner, the Rockies pitcher. And Feltner suffered a really serious head injury. He's out for multiple months. Ryan Yarbrough of the Royals also had the same thing happen. So he went, my colleague went and looked, and he noticed that we're getting a lot of these. We have like a grading system for injuries where, you know, 1 is like, okay, the guy shook it off and he was fine. It was no big deal. But we have injury grades that are 4 and 5, which is guy came out of game essentially is 4. And then 5 is guy got seriously injured. And at the time that we had written the article, we've had 10 of those instances where a pitcher got drilled by a line drive or a ground ball and had to either come out of the game, was seriously injured, or was on the verge of coming out of the game but managed to stay in. And we've had 10. That was through May 17th, 10 of those in about 6 weeks. For all of 2022, we had 8 of them. For all of 2021, we had 6 of them. For all of 2019 full season, we had a dozen, and we've had 10 squeezed into this 6-7 week period. That seems a little unnerving. I don't know that I would, necessarily say definitively this is a problem, but it's getting there. Like, you wouldn't expect there to be that many. And I went and I watched them to make sure that all these things happened, and it was legit. And the day that I watched them, 2 other guys got drilled. They were able to stay in the game. The exit velos are scary these days, and they're particularly scary for pitchers having balls come right back at them. So yeah.
And so much, depending on once you release the ball, how do you end up, what defensive position you're in. You're talking about Yarbrough. That was against the A's. He got hit by the A's and went out. And I still always think about Brandon McCarthy. That was 2012. Brandon McCarthy gets hit in the head with the A's, goes down. He gets up. He walked off the field. Everybody claps. You think, he's going to be okay. Next thing you know, he has bleeding of the brain. He's in the hospital. He's in intensive care. I mean, it can be really scary stuff.
And I don't know how you solve it.
You can't have an L screen out there.
Right. You can't have an L screen. They tried a few years ago. There was that pitcher, Alex Torres, who was with the Rays. And then I think he was with the Padres. And then he was with the Mets.
The big helmet.
With the huge hat. That didn't seem to go over well. I don't know what you can necessarily do to deal with it. Cal Quantrill of the Guardians, he got hit once where he had to come out of the game, and he was one of the 2 guys that I saw get hit a week ago, where he was very fortunate. And if you sum up all of the balls that hit a pitcher, there's generally about like 1 a day, maybe a little more than 1 a day, and so it'll probably happen today in some game. Some guy's going to get drilled. Maybe he'll be fortunate and he'll deflect the ball with his glove. Maybe he'll get seriously hurt. We certainly hope that that's not the case. Tim Kirkjian talks about it all the time, guys being afraid of the ball because of things like that happen. And if you're playing baseball, you can't be afraid of the ball.
Well, you guys have been the gurus on defense for a long, long time. So let's get into some defense, and you can give us some A's. I know left field has been good. I think one of the reasons why is we've seen quite a bit lately of J.J. Bleday, a center fielder playing left. He's been good, but just kind of go over the A's outfield and what you've seen.
Sure. Let's start in left field because it's good news. As of, I think it was yesterday. I didn't check it today, but
We've
the
got
A's.
good news, everybody. We've got good news.
The A's had the lead, had the most defensive runs saved in left field. You're making me laugh here. They've played 7 different guys in left field. Rooker's played 17 games. Kemp's played 10. Bleday 9. Brown 7. Capel 7. And it's funny because I went and I watched the best catches in terms of like how much did they save in terms of runs. And the best one is a Bleday catch. The second one is a Rooker catch. The third one is a Kemp catch. The fifth one is a Brown catch. And then if you go down a couple more, there's a Capel catch. So it's really it's this team effort.
We're diversified in left field.
It really is amazing how 5 guys have combined for this 7 or 8 or 9 runs saved or whatever it is. But hey, that's a win.
So we're the best defensive run save team in left field in baseball.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the left field's like the least important position, unfortunately, among the outfield spots, right? Because you got your right fielder who's going to be able to throw. Your left fielder is where you typically don't necessarily put your best guy. There aren't a lot of guys that play like 140 games in left field. You're rotating guys there, and you're not necessarily putting your best defender there. But yes, to give them a credit for something, they've been the best in left field.
Well,
now, right field more legit.
Wait. I've heard in sports, people have compared. They said most important position in sports: quarterback, goalie, and left fielder,
and point guard. Well, not quite. Let's talk about can we talk about right field though?
Right field. Let's go right field.
So talking seriously here, and this is StatCast and us differ on this a little bit because our metrics are a little more involved than StatCasts are, at least at the moment. Ramon Laureano has 9 defensive runs saved, which is excellent for a right fielder. It would be excellent for a right fielder for a full season. He's got the home run robbery, which he had recently. He's got a couple of throwouts. He's got some nice catches in right field. He's a better fit in right field than he is in center field. I think that's essentially established at this point. So he's been pretty good out there. 9 defensive runs saved is putting you in the territory of winning a Gold Glove, winning a Fielding Bible Award. Kyle Tucker, who I think won it last year, he's not having a good year this year in right field. So maybe Laureano is a contender there for a Gold Glove, and you would hope that they don't hold the record of the team against them. The news isn't as good in center field. Esteri is at -10 runs saved. That's worst. And I don't have much more to say about it than that. There's a fair number of mistakes out there. There are balls that he's missed. Center field in Oakland is tough because it's so big. It's hard for anybody to be particularly good out there. He's essentially undergoing a rookie baptism by fire, and as a result, his numbers aren't great. But hey, as we said, left and right, not bad.
Yeah, Ruiz, to me, just watching it, you've seen the struggles. He doesn't read it off the bat very well, doesn't get very good jumps, and balls he doesn't get to, can get behind him, and that's like the worst thing you want. I mean, so we've seen it. But how many times have you seen a guy who was a middle infielder? And obviously, if he was a middle infielder, he wasn't great defensively there either if they moved him. So if you move a guy from the middle infield to center field, How many times have you seen that numbers wise actually work out to where the guy becomes let's say, a plus defender?
So we've done a couple of studies on this. We've done studies on guys shifting positions in the outfield. We've done stuff on guys shifting positions from the infield, and we've done stuff on guys shifting infield to outfield. And in fact, I wrote an article last year about Jazz Chisholm, who said that he was going to play center field for the Marlins. This was months ago. He wound up getting hurt. And I think the answer to that is that it's a mixed bag. A couple of guys have done all right. Ketel Marte did okay going to center field, but Ian Desmond didn't. D. Strange Gordon didn't. Dustin Ackley a few years back didn't. It's tough to go from infield to outfield. It's tough to do it as a rookie. It's not something that I think is necessarily statistically advisable, but it is a reality of the situation, I guess, that Oakland is in right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Chisholm and that, and him making that change. Remember when we were debating, or people were debating that trade, Zach Gallen for him? How's that trade looking now?
Well, he's had his good moments. They did move him to center field, which I thought was a little odd. And Zach Gallen looks like a Cy Young winner. He's been amazing. I still feel like that was at the time, like those teams had the right idea with what they were trying to do. But yeah, it certainly tilts one way in particular at the moment. Although I think the Marlins people will tell you that they were happy with Jazz up until he got hurt.
Okay, so we focus so much when we look at numbers and analytics and data, we're always looking offensive. Now we're so much when we look at pitching and pitch shaping and spin and all these different things. It's like defense gets lost. We don't talk about it a lot. Is that a problem in our game? I mean, can we look and say, hey, listen, teams that are excellent defensive run save, these teams are going to win. You're going to make your pitching better. Do you guys have anything that says, hey, listen, you're going to be a much, much, much better team if you are this in defensive run save?
Yeah, I've written articles about this in the past. I think you can see it a little bit if you look at the numbers for this season. If you look at the top, the Blue Jays are the number one team in defensive runs saved. The Brewers are second. They've been very good. Arizona has overachieved this year. The Diamondbacks are third. Tampa Bay has been fantastic. The Rays have ranged from the top spot to where they are now, which is fourth. The Tigers have considerably overachieved this year. They're in the number 5 defensive team. They've performed particularly well. They've made Eduardo Rodriguez's year look particularly good. So short answer on that is I don't mind, because I like being one of the few that talks about it in the media. But I think teams are aware of its importance, and if we went back and looked at 22, 21, 20, you would see a strong connection between teams that played good defense and teams that obviously pitched well. And then beyond that, if you have good defenders, you generally have good athletes and smart players, and they tend to do good things in other areas as well.
Well, we do our show for home games from the field, so we get to see how everybody prepares. And if you're ever out in the Bay Area, I want you to come check it out when Tampa's here, because nobody works harder before every single game than Tampa does on their defense. They take the batting cage, they pull it back, and they go through a whole thing with their infielders. They do a whole thing with their outfielders. A lot of teams, you know what they do? They'll take fungo, ground balls during batting practice. No, the Rays do defensive drills before every single game. They're like a machine. So it doesn't shock me if someone would say, like yourself, oh, the Rays are always a top 5 defensive team. They are, because they work at it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. In fact, Rodney Linares, I did an article. I keep talking about things that I've written. I did a piece where I did a day in the life of the Rays defense. This was 4 or 5 years ago, where I went to Yankee Stadium and talked to him and talked to their outfield coach at length. And I watched as he prepared Willy Adames before a game, where Willy Adames got on his knees and he's taking balls left to his left and to his right, fielding them while on his knees, balls of like softballs and harder balls, and fielding them just to warm up his reflexes and get him in a groove. And I've now seen other infield coaches do that as well. But I remember it back then. Yeah, they put the work in. The Rays put the work into everything. Plus, I think the meetings for positioning and things of that sort are much more intricate now than they were a few years ago. And yeah, teams take it seriously. I mentioned the Brewers. Brewers have, under Craig Counsell, have almost always been very good defensively. So it doesn't surprise me that they're second this year. And the Toronto is interesting because they got Kiermaier, who's played great in the field, and they've got Varsho, who's played pretty well in the field, and they fixed Bo Bichette, who was, I guess, I don't want to say messed up, but Bo Bichette's defensive numbers were terrible last year or the last 2 years, and they've been good so far this year. And Matt Chapman's played well as well. So they've got a team that has the capability to be great defensively and thus find a way through in that crazy American League East.
You know, when I think about, we'll end on this. When I think about, there's no shifting. To me, the dramatic shifting, like what we used to do, where we would take our shortstop, Marcus Semien, put him in short right field. Matt Chapman would play shortstop. That kind of dramatic shifting is gone. But playing basically your shortstop or your second baseman right up the middle, that hasn't changed. So when we say shifting has changed, the original way we were shifting, where you kind of wanted to have three guys this way or three guys that, really hasn't changed all that much.
Yeah, we call it partials at Sports Info Solutions. We call them partial shifts. And like last year, there was more shifting. This year, there's more. There's every team that shifted a ton just goes to partials, and some teams are down a little bit overall in terms of if you combine partials and fulls. Last year, they were in the 70-75%. Now they might be in the 65-70%. You don't do it as often, but it's not. Teams are still essentially yes to what you said exactly. I think that's what it is, and the difference in ground ball and bunt out rate is minimal last year to this year. I think the difference comes in more on line drives, and that is where you're seeing a little bit of the rise in batting average on balls in play. So you see it a little bit for the line drive hitters, and like Anthony Rizzo has certainly benefited from it, I'm sure.
I told you the man's brilliant. I told you the baseball Bible, all the fielding Bible, all the stuff that you put out. Where can our fans get your stuff on a daily basis and purchase your stuff?
SportsInfoSolutions.com is our website. Articles are on the right-hand side of the page. SIS_baseball on Twitter for our company's baseball Twitter. You'll see we've started doing more Japanese baseball of late as a kind of an added bonus. And I'm at Mark A. Simon Says. That's where you can find me.
You are the best. Let's do this again soon. Don't be a stranger.
That's on you.
That's on Cody. You hear that, Cody? That's on you. That's on my producer. Hey, thanks for everything you've done over the years. You're fantastic.
Cool, Chris. Thanks. See ya.
Take care. I mean, the stuff he used to give me, because I know everybody's a football fan, the stuff he used to give me for football was like, wow. But, yeah, their information is second to none. We've done the fielding Bible here on A's Cast Live, and I found that interesting. 7 different left fielders, the A's are the best in defensive runs saved. Ramon Laureano, 9 defensive runs saved, is playing at a Gold Glove level, and something that I hate. What's the pace Este's on right now? Este Uri.
I think Este's on pace for 83 steals.
Can we get our thing and make sure it's I want to write that down for sure.
I think I updated it. He has 26 steals, I believe, and so it's up to 83 then. So I'll just do it, make sure.
26 stolen bases.
Where's our
little
played 51 games, right? Yeah, 10 and 41. 83.
83 pace. Don't want to criticize, but you've heard me, especially in the post-game show, go, I don't like it in center field. I'm not seeing it. I remember Johnny, God bless him. Johnny, if you're listening, we love you. God bless you. Johnny's like, Johnny, I think he's going to figure it out. I go, I don't know. There's no guarantee. There's a reason they moved him from, now, granted, when he was in San Diego, they had some very good, the kid in Washington right now. Who got from the Padres? Their their shortstop. Why
am I drawing? Oh, C.J. Abrams.
Abrams. So he was battling him and a bunch of other guys. And remember, at that time, the Padres it was top 3, if not number 1 rated farm system. So he was playing against some really good players. So they moved him. But that also meant he wasn't great.
Correct.
Defensively. So he wasn't great defensively in the infield. Why would we think he's now going to be instinctual and great? We just talked about Mike Trout and Griffey and DiMaggio. Well, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the greatest defensive. DiMaggio was great too. If you listen to people, I mean, the amount of coverage that he had to have out in left center at a massively large Yankee Stadium. You're talking about greatness when it comes to center fielders. I'm not going to list Trout as a great center fielder.
He's gotten better, but he was actually a poor defensive center fielder.
And he doesn't throw all that great.
No.
Griffey, I watched Griffey. Griffey was great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the catches, he had a good arm.
But Griffey got everything. When you got a guy out there in center field, Griffey's going to rob stuff. He's going to do the cleat at Yankee Stadium. But Griffey, you hit it in a certain area when he's playing center field in his prime. You think of guys from that era, right? You think of Jim Edmonds, Devon White, Steve Finley. There was an era there of just greatness in center field, of guys who just could go flat out, go and get. Kevin Kiermaier's a guy who just flat out and goes gets it.
He has 10 defensive runs saved this year.
I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you hit in the gaps, you hit it over his head, you hit in front. He was getting everything, and he would dive and he would lay out. And Griff had a hose. I don't know what his throw. I mean, I can just go off watching him. Ken Griffey had a hose. Some center fielders, like Coco. Coco was a very good defensive center fielder, but as we like to say in baseball, Coco couldn't throw out the trash. I mean,
wow. It's true, though.
It's true. He had no arm.
I looked it up. Mike Trout, -2 on defensive runs saved.
I don't need that, but I don't need your metrics to tell me that, as an old scout would say. But yeah, I mean, you watch Trout and it's like, he's all right.
Their best defensive run saved guy is our good friend Brett Phillips, who was actually DFA'd.
If we're going older guys, can we just sign him?
Oh, I mean, selfishly for us, please.
I love Brett Phillips, and if he's DFA'd, he'd be a perfect A.
He sounds like an Oakland A already.
Sounds like an Oakland A. So center field, we're -10. We're the worst in baseball.
Correct. I can pull up the whole team.
Can you do that off his thing?
Let's see. The Oakland A's.
So 7 different outfielders. We're strong in left.
Ramon Laureano has +1 in center field, defensive run saved. Overall, it's Ramon, and then J.J. Bleday is at 2. Ken Waldichuk, pretty serviceable as a starting pitcher.
He said we're number 1. We're at 7.
In
we
left
count
field.
them all up, I guess.
In left field,
yeah.
See. Yeah, 7. Capel 3, Bleday 3, and Rooker 1.
So the position outfield, we're a +7.
That's left field, yes.
How many have we used?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Carlos Perez played in left field for an inning.
So how are we set? Oh, some have to be 0 then.
Yeah, the rest everyone's 0 except for Rooker, Bleday, and Capel.
7 + 7, 7 players.
Yep.
What are we in right field?
Ramon has 9, and then Bleday's -1, Rooker's -1, and Capel's -3, and then.
So what's the grand total?
So it'll be -5, 4.
We're +4.
Yeah.
+4. How many guys?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 guys. 7 players. I was writing guys. 7 players.
Well, okay. Also, Noda and Tyler Wade have played a combined 6 innings and.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. They played. All right. Center field, we're a -10.
No, we're -9. Estes -10.
Ruiz,
Ramon's 1.
-10. All right. Overall, we're -9.
Correct.
Ruiz -10. How many have we used?
Oh, center field?
Yeah, we used because more.
3. Overall, our outfield is 2.
Overall, we're a +2.
+2. Because
that's, you know what? That smells. What does that smell like to you?
Success?
No.
I don't know.
Smells like a third inning hit during the radio broadcast to me, because you've got the fifth.
Correct. Minor league. Yeah.
I've got the third. Maybe we could get a little cut from Mark Simon to play in that.
I'm looking at our infield real quick. There's 4 guys with positive, and then there's 4 guys with negative.
Who's positive?
Jace.
All right.
Tyler Wade.
Well,
Jordan Diaz.
What?
Yeah. And Ryan Noda.
So 2 guys that are still here. Who's negative?
Aletmus is -6. Tony Kemp's -4. Jesus Aguilar is -3. So there's 3 your veterans. And Kevin Smith is -1. So right there, that's 14. So you're -10 overall as an infield. That's not good. What the way they equated it before.
Your 2 worst guys are Aletmus Diaz and Tony Kemp, who both are not hitting. So it's one thing if you got hitting, and I'll overlook the defense. So you're not hitting and you're not playing D.
Yes, and how it used to work when this defensive run saved were a huge thing is every +10 you were, that's like it was equivalent to a win. So if you're +20, that's your 2 win player essentially. They're essentially were a what are we -10? I said so. Our infant's costing us a game. Our defense. Wow. The only one you go over is catcher, and Carlos Perez at 1 +1, and Shea Langoliers -8.
That's kind of tough for me because I don't think Langoliers is a problem defensively, and he's actually thrown the ball really well.
Yeah, no, he's a really good arm.
So it's like, what's he getting banged on? I don't know. How do you evaluate catchers in defensive run save?
Yeah, I'd have to look up what the actual. Well, actually, I might tell you. I'm looking at our pitchers. We only have a few guys that are positive.
I don't care.
Well, Greg Maddux cared. There's only a few pitchers.
We got bigger problems.
Zach Greinke cares.
We've got bigger problems with our pitchers than their defense.
Actually, it doesn't say. Oh, value added lost in strikes versus expected strikes, especially pitch framing for catchers. So I'm assuming that means framing. Oh no, sorry. That's what strike zone stands for, and he's -3. So it's pitch framing.
So he doesn't frame really well.
No, but Jeff Passan wrote earlier, and we probably won't be able to get into it, is about the robo umps and how it's doing in AAA.
Well, where are we on time? Once again, we're kind of scrambled here.
Eno Sarris, we have plenty of time. Eno Sarris is a 5:30.
5:30. All right, coming up next. What is he saying? We're going to robo umps.
He was just breaking down.
You hear that sound, right?
Whoops. Sorry. Forgot I loaded the Eno Sarris sound and it was playing. That's what that was. That's on me.
I'm trying to tease here.
Okay, go ahead. Start it over. Where's that scratch sound? Rewind.
Jeff Passan. Is he saying we're going to robo umps?
Could be looking that way.
Mark Simon. Remember, Mark Simon not only doing the sports info solutions, but Mark Simon used to be ESPN.
Yeah. Passan's article is very long. I skimmed it, but I think I pulled 2 things that were talking about the success of like challenge, because you can challenge balls and strikes there now.
You're just like the rest of these people. Well, I saw it on Twitter. Well, did you read the article? No, I just saw the thing on Twitter that said this about the,
It's like, no offense to Eno, but it's like reading an Eno article.
How many people that are following our whole ballpark saga are actually reading the articles and reading stuff versus just seeing something on Twitter?
Probably just reading something on Twitter.
Yeah, probably. Well, no one read anything, so we'll just give it a shot next right here on A's Cast Live.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
Unbeatable mileage from Chevron with Techron unlocks all kinds of unbeatable trips. Like to family dinner the next town over, or to a family wedding the next town over, or even to a family reunion over the river and through the woods at Grandma's house. Any drive is worth it to see Grandma, especially when you can stop along the way for unbeatable cleaning power from Chevron with Techron. Your engine will be thanking you for making the trip. Download the Chevron app now and find unbeatable mileage near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Hey, Billy, this deck is great for getting everyone together.
Thanks. We're really enjoying the outdoor space, especially on a day like today.
What's the material?
Humboldt Redwood from Ashby Lumber. They gave us a great deal, provided us with a quick quote, and we couldn't be happier. We even found a great contractor through their online contractor directory.
Don't miss a day outdoors. Visit Ashby Lumber in Berkeley or Concord to see our stock of naturally strong, naturally beautiful Humboldt Redwood. Find out more at ashbylumber.com for all your building needs. Ashby Lumber.
Baseball season is officially here, and there's no better time to build your collection of Topps trading cards. Topps packs feature everything from top stars, rookies, game-used memorabilia, and autographs from players around the league, as well as special inserts and surprises. Visit your local hobby shop, retailers, and Topps.com to collect the first product of the season, Topps Series 1 Baseball. Follow @Topps on social media to join the conversation and start sharing your collection today.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through April 23rd, new customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet during our limited time Xfinity 10G network launch celebration for just $25 a month for 2 years. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Innovation. It's at the core of Cal State East Bay, like at our Green Biome Institute, where faculty and students preserve genetic information from California's endangered plants, or how we open doors for local entrepreneurs at our Small Business Development Center. From educators to nurses to STEM professionals, Cal State East Bay has real impact throughout the region's neighborhoods, boardrooms, and the entire economy. Be part of the innovation. Connect with Cal State East Bay at csueastbay.edu/impact.
Calling all kids. It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and under to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After cheering on your green and gold, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree. That's athletics.com/kidsfree.
Bring the whole family out to the ballpark for this Friday night showdown on May 26th. Come see your A's take on the Houston Astros, then head down to the field to see the best fireworks in the Bay Area. So get ready to enjoy a one-of-a-kind Pop Through the Decades post-game fireworks show.
Throws and it's swung and hit to right field, deep in the corner, and that's going to be gone, and it's back to back to back.
Grab your seats today at athletics.com/fireworks. That's athletics.com/fireworks.
We are right in the middle of major season on the PGA Tour. Hey, those guys are good, but it won't stop you from having a great golf outing at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Just a short drive south of fast-paced Silicon Valley, the 27 holes of championship golf will give you and your friends a full day of enjoyment. Plus, a great 19th hole experience awaits at the grill. Not only golf, but Cinnabar Hills is ready to provide a first-class experience for any event. Learn more at CinnabarHills.com, CinnabarHills.com.
Looking to stay up to date on all things A's? Head over to athletics.com/A'scast. That's athletics.com/A'scast to listen to A's baseball in full 24/7 coverage of the A's, only on A's Cast. With a single click, you can stream great shows, live pre- and post-game coverage, and of course, all the great action of the A's this season. Head to athletics.com/A'scast today.
A's fans, there is no better way to stay in touch with the A's and even our players than following us on social media. Just head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social for a full list of our social coverage, from player accounts to Twitter handles and more. Now is the time to stay in touch. Head over to athletics.com/social. That's athletics.com/social today.
Streaming from the A's Road studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
I like that because the Road Studio can be anywhere.
We're
all over the Bay Area. We're the only show that's all over the Bay Area. Yeah. Every single talk show on KNBR is in San Francisco. Every single 95.7 The Game is in San Francisco. Giants are all doing their stuff from here. We're in Oakland, we're in San Francisco, we're in San Jose. We cover the entire Bay, and we travel. We get out to the chicken pie shop at Walnut Creek,
Just gonna say
which
that.
is where?
Walnut Creek.
You're a
I'm
smart
trying
guy.
to remember the actual address, but I know it's a Royal Way. What's the actual number, though?
I don't have enough hand either. I just know how to get there.
I just remember Joey used to always have in our spot when Joey used to do it. I'm sorry. It's just how my mind works. 1251 a Royal Way, Walnut
You know
Creek.
how your mind works? Like something gets it, and you will like stop everything because I got to like type in and research it. Your wife, I can't imagine. No wonder she goes to Cancun and has pina coladas. Just he's on Twitter all day long. He's just I can see where she's like that, but I'm not. I'm grateful for it. I just worry about you. If you're just tuning into the show before the show starts, like a 12-year-old, he had a thermometer out checking his temperature. I'm worried that I don't know. Is it COVID, SARS? What do I have to worry about?
It's I'm fairly certain it's food poisoning from what I ate last night.
Okay. Do you get a temperature from food poisoning?
Yes.
Did you even look that up?
Yes, even my wife texted me, a trained master's degree nurse.
I'm going to check the internet.
But I believe everything I read on the internet.
From food poisoning. All righty. Answer is, while different types of
there it is.
Hold on. While different types of pathogenic bacteria can cause different symptoms, food poisoning generally presents itself with symptoms such as nausea. Do you have that?
I haven't vomited, but I felt that a little bit.
Oh my God, you are sick. So wait a minute, you've had food poisoning. Have you just haven't felt well?
No, I've had the nausea and the fever.
That's it?
Yes.
That could be just an upset tummy.
Oh, I don't have the abdominal cramping. So that's not there.
You haven't yacked.
No, that's true. I haven't yacked in a long
Nothing's
time.
come out of your body.
No. So we'll see.
Butterfly, it's like Link's soul. It's the butterfly. Your little butterfly. Our little his tummy's a little upset. So he's got to check his temperature.
Hey, Michael Jordan played with the flu. So am I.
Let me ask you a question.
Actually, it was his food poisoning too.
It was out drinking all night long. They claim it was a pizza.
Yeah. It's Salt Lake City.
Did Michael Jordan bring a thermometer to the?
I don't know. The team
to
doctor
the locker room.
Team doctor probably did.
Did he bring a little baggie like you did and went? Oh, it's 100.
The baggie has medicine in it. Actually, it's Tylenol, and then it has the case for the thermometer. My wife's very thorough.
Do you feel soft? Do you feel lesser of a man carrying a thermometer around and being at work? I mean, what did you say your temperature was?
101.
I mean, I'd need mine. If I'm carrying my thermometer around, I better be 103.
My wife goes, if it's 101, how are you even speaking to me right now? She was like, thinking I should be delirious. I'm like, what is this? It's
Did you take some Tylenol?
I did twice already.
Now I'm going to get sick. If I get sick, then it wasn't food poisoning.
Oh, then I don't know how I got sick. I haven't seen anyone. My wife's been away.
Or so you say.
My wife's been away and she worked 16 hours yesterday.
So you say. Maybe we're going to find out.
Actually, I did take the train home yesterday.
Wife was in Cancun. I don't know. What have you been doing?
I took the train home.
I don't
yesterday.
know where you are all day long. You know where I am.
I'm at home. I don't want to spend money. We know that.
You know where I am. It's not hard to find me.
The train. It could have been the train. Maybe I caught something on the train.
That's why my wife can never like, you want to know where I am? Not hard to figure out.
Well, she'll just call you.
Huh?
She'll just call you.
She'll call me 8,000 times while I'm on the air. That's the best.
Where are you?
Well, I didn't realize you're on the air. Really? All right. Before we get to
plenty of time,
Eno Sarris, let's. So Jeff Pat. So I thought Mark Simon was pretty dead on there. Like the challenge system might sound more feasible to me until you. The thing with technology is, as great as technology is, it can screw up. Not saying humans screw up all the time. There was a pitch the other day. Who threw it? For us. Someone threw a pitch that was such a strike and it was like ball. And everybody was like, maybe that should be the challenge system. When the pitcher, the catcher, and everybody on television, even though the umpire can't say, when everybody just goes, how's that possible? Like, you put that stupid box there, that thing's in the middle of the box, and you call it a ball, we got a problem.
Yeah, in the minor leagues, what they do is the catcher taps his head for a challenge. So that's how they challenge it in the minor leagues.
Worst thing in the world, though, whenever you allow players to do it. Like, how many times has player slides into second base, they tag him out, umpire goes out, and he pops up pointing at the dugout, and then you look at the highlight, go, dude, you're way out.
My favorite's always just seeing
You're way out.
Always just seeing Kotz walk out, and he's like, and then the
or the yeah, no, wait.
Yeah.
Or how about the guy that catches the football, gets up and signals first down, and he's a yard short,
or down by 4 touchdowns.
What? Yeah, we're down 28-0. Boop, catches it, gets up first down. You're like, dude.
I believe that Chase Claypool
saw this
did that
the other day. Kid in his last at bat hits a grand slam, pimps it, but he just doesn't pimp it. As he throws his bat, he turns around, hits it, pimps the bat, pimping it, turns around, points at their dugout, all right? Points at their dugout, does the Chaz Chisholm where he's got a Jazz Chisholm going around the whole time doing something, does the Nando coming around third base, crosses home plate, points again at the other dugout, and somebody on Twitter goes, this is absolutely, and there were people defending it going, you don't understand. This is how kids play today. It's like, okay, showing up the other team, okay, making your home run trot last for minutes and showing up the other team multiple times is not a good direction for your sport.
It's not. And was that the one? No, that was not the one where you sent me where the kid missed home plate on the home run, right?
No, that was a junior USA team. Kid hits a grand slam and in the celebration doesn't touch home plate. You're out. And people flipped out about that. And you're like, well, the game is still the game. And the last time I checked, you got to touch the bases. And if you don't touch the bases, we got a problem. And just because this is a big moment and this is the U.S. junior team, you still got to touch home plate. I mean, no matter what the game is and no matter what the stakes, the ball has to go in the hoop.
Correct.
The football has to get into the end zone for it to be a touchdown.
The puck has to go into the net.
The player has to touch home plate for that run to count.
Last time I checked, yes.
Just because you love the moment and parents, you can't say, well, it's such a big moment. Rules don't count. No, the rules still, the way the game is played still. But you got to go. I wish I could find it. There are people defending how this sportsmanship was arguably the worst sportsmanship I've ever. It was his last at bat in high school. Okay, he could have celebrated. He didn't have to point at the other dugout. And then when he came back around, point at the other dugout again.
So you were talking about how long the trot took, so it made me think StatCast actually tracks that, how long home run trots go. Marcell Ozuna leads baseball. His average home run trot is 29.5 seconds. You want to know who second is? This will actually kind of shock you.
Okay. He bugs me.
Well, the backswing with Will Smith?
He does things that bug me.
Well, there's a lot of things he does.
Yeah. You know, he bugs. He is a player that you may not like even when he's on your team.
I'm with you.
And now you're and just the fact, knowing what I know, and he's the worst at hot dogging around the bases, does not shock me at all.
So,
all right, who's next?
He's only hit one home run, but it's shock you how long it took him to get around the bases.
Nick Allen.
No, former A's shortstop.
Elvis.
28.
Who, by the way, Elvis is a wonderful
guy. Elvis was great. 28.9.
Wonderful guy.
Then it's Jesus Sanchez of the Marlins at 28.2.
Can I just say, we got Elvis later in his career, but Elvis had a terrific career, still playing. But Elvis made a lot of money, done very well.
Going over 2,000 hits this year, right?
Stats. But Elvis Andrus was a super good man.
He'll be on the Rangers Wall of Fame.
Yeah, whatever their thing is.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on the Giants. He's too good for the Giants Wall of Fame, Elvis Andrus.
He'll be on the Wall of Fame.
Class act. Nothing but the best things to say about Elvis. Loved him as a person. He's think about from the moment we didn't know him to when he did know who we are. He was always just the way he treated everybody. Elvis is a super dude.
I agree. And fourth, Randy Arozarena at 27.9.
I love me some Randy Arozarena.
I do love his home run.
I love the name.
There's a guy that
he's a baller. I know you don't like the Rays, but he's a baller.
They're a nice little team. They won again today.
You don't believe in them.
Stephen Kwan, second fastest in baseball.
I was about to say, what? My guy Stephen Kwan?
He only has one home run, but it's at 18.6 seconds.
My good friend Stephen Kwan.
Yeah. How far back does this go? Can we track a Rosie home run?
You gonna tell him how Stephen Kwan hugged me after our latest interview?
That's true. He did. I saw it. I was there. We're
tight.
It only goes back to 2019, so I cannot track Rosie's home run trot.
Rosie would be
Seth Brown, 19.7. He's eighth fastest.
So Seth Brown is
one home run.
Okay, let's. We're just trying to figure out. So Seth Brown's how fast?
19.7.
Is Rosie under 10?
Can we? What was Rosie's last year? It was probably like 2017, maybe. Because he's 40. His last year in the major leagues was 2018, and of course he hit a home run that year.
I'm gonna say Rosie, at least with the A's, had to have sub 10-second trots. That's pretty fast, though, isn't it?
Oh, here it is. While ball hung in there for 5.5 seconds, Rosales sprinted around the bases in just 15.9 seconds.
I was about to say 10 sounds as soon. Because think about it. I'll do 10 seconds right now. Ready? Crack of the bat. Go. $10 seconds. That's pretty fast.
If this was a real radio station, there'd be panic. You have program directors, engineers running in.
Station off the air? Is the station off the air? Ah!
It's actually 15.88, and they rounded up to 15.9.
I would like to actually get my stopwatch out and see how fast you could do it, like going full sprint. How long do you think you could get around the bases?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't ran in a while. Well, I do exercise, but I haven't ran in a while. I'll say I can comfortably get under 40.
I was hoping you'd say a lot less than that.
Well, I'm saying if Marcell Ozuna does it in 29 points. I'm putting myself above Ozuna because maybe I will pimp it just for fun. But if you want me to go from home to home, I could probably.
How long? Big Papi took a long time.
When was his last year?
And Nando acts like he's hit 500 home runs. He takes a long time.
I went back to 2019 because that's the first year they tracked it, and the slowest guy in 2019 was Hanley Ramirez.
What would Jose Canseco's be at the Sky Dome when he hit that one in the third deck? He hits it and he watches it. So it counts from the time the ball leaves the bat, right?
Yeah. Does it give a definition of how it works?
Because Jose Canseco literally watches the thing go all the way into the third deck. That takes seconds right there before he hits it. If you remember, he hits it, takes like a step, and he's watching it. That's seconds right there. And you know what, Jose Canseco? You hit the ball in the third deck, You can take as much time as you want.
You can just stand there, ask someone to bring out your camera, take a picture.
You know, I do not like. I do not. I've told you I'm a big Jose guy.
Bobblehead on the desk.
Loved Jose Canseco when I was in high school.
Coming out of Madonna's apartment.
I'll never forget when they asked me, "Hey, would you like to?" Because there were some people like, "I don't think you want to do this." It was in Concord when that documentary about Jose. Dude, I want to be a part of that and do the panel with him and everybody. I went, hell yes. I get to hang out with Jose Canseco. I'm in. This was years ago. And I got to tell you, whenever I ask Jose questions to people that were around Jose, I never get the answers I'm looking for. Are you shocked by that?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Just enjoy Jose the player.
Do we have him on? I think we had him on like 19.
Yeah, you don't have to. I got him on the field. Like literally, I sat there with him a couple hours, and then all of a sudden, like a year later, he's on the field. What were we doing? The 50 greatest? Were we 100 or 50?
50.
And he was on the field, act like he had never seen me before. He had spent hours with me, and I did the whole thing, his documentary with the producer and the guys who put the money up and the whole thing about him getting blackballed in baseball, whatever it was called. I was with Jose for a couple hours. You'd think that you would like, when someone doesn't know who you are. And I wasn't like, hey, buddy, how are you? Like, Jose, Chris Townsend, I do that thing. And you could tell, like, looking in his eyes, he did not put two and two together. And it was like, hey, can I get us? And he was cool. He did the interview. I did the interview with him on the field.
So that would have been, that was before me here.
But
yeah, the 50 greatest A's players. Was he here for? I can't remember if he was here for the 2000. The 30.
Were we even doing A's Cast Live then?
I don't think so. The 30th, but the 30th anniversary of the 1989 team, he would. I can't remember if he showed up or not.
Just don't ask questions. Just enjoy what you enjoy. Sometimes you just have to enjoy what you remember as a kid or as an adult watching him.
Fair.
That's all you need to know.
I didn't.
Anything else is going to disappoint you.
I didn't get a chance to really watch Jose.
That's why you don't want to meet your favorite players, folks. You do not want to meet your favorite players because you never know. You do not want to meet your idols. You just want to keep them in that high regard and leave it at that.
I agree with that. The only player I've ever met that I really liked was McCutcheon. Super guy, but didn't go into depth in a conversation with him or anything like that. I'll keep it that way.
Because sometimes you don't know if you're just going to run into him on a bad day.
Yeah. And then I can't even eat Ichiro's food.
Think about all those poor kids who grew up huge Barry Bonds fans.
Yeah, Pittsburgh and San Francisco.
Awful person. Awful. I got stories that are personal stories that have nothing to do with baseball. Nothing to do. Bonds is an awful person.
I remember you've met
bad guy. Stuff that doesn't even have to do with me. And that's what happens when you're from an area. A lot of people know you. Bonds is a bad dude. If you grew up idolizing Barry, and that's saying you want to Barry Bonds is the best player I've ever seen.
I'll second that.
I mean, it's really, Super Barry, performance enhancing drugs. It is what it is. I've never seen anybody better than him.
No.
No matter how good Trout is, no matter how good Ricky Henderson was, no matter how good nobody was better than Bonds.
Not that we've seen so far. No one's even
so
close.
It's like as a kid who grew up in the Bay Area and you love Bonds, you just gotta realize just remember the memories, not the guy, and not the guy away from the field. It's tough to say. I mean, Ricky Henderson's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Now he's in his own little world. There's no question about that. Hell, Dave Stewart will tell you that.
I remember meeting him at the 89 reunion, but I also met him at the Hall of Fame dinner last year when we went.
One of my first interview with him, I love telling that story about Glenn Allen Hill from Santa Cruz, his locker next door, and I'm in it. This is Ricky Henderson, the Met player, not hitting coach. First time I interviewed Ricky Henderson, he was a Met, and Glenn Allen Hill was sitting just listening to us do the interview, smoking a cigarette in the clubhouse.
That's pretty good.
It's amazing how times have changed. Can you imagine if guys what are you guys going to talk about today?
Well, Jim Leland probably would still do that. Probably smoked cigarettes in the stands when he's scouting the
Josh Reddick used to snap. Now that they're all gone, Josh Reddick used to sneak into the back. Didn't sneak, but Josh Reddick smoked cigarettes, and Josh Reddick would go right through Steve Vucinich's office into the back where they stored all the different stuff, and he'd smoke. But Josh Reddick didn't want anyone to see him smoke. Josh Reddick is a cigarette smoker, but he didn't want any of the media to see it.
That makes sense.
Even though you could smell it, because all of a sudden it'd come through and you could smell it, but he didn't want anybody knowing. Josh Reddick smoked cigarettes in the clubhouse. It just happened to be in the back of Oose's office. It is amazing the stuff we could tell.
Well, I don't have any secrets to tell from what things I've seen.
There's so many secrets. There's so many things. I'll never write a book. You know why? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We got to get to Eno.
Before we get to A's Total Access, brought to you by
Chevron.
Each week, our national baseball columnists, we're lucky to have him, Eno Sarris, stops by A's Cast Live.
Sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
The great Eno Sarris is with us here, our national baseball columnist from The Athletic. And the great thing about you, Eno Sarris, not only is you're a beer connoisseur and really a master of the brew. By the way, are you switching your beers yet?
I've got a couple cold IPAs in the fridge. I'm true to my word.
I like it. I like it. Is, a lot of guys that you bring on, and we respect everybody that we bring on, and you ask the normal questions. You are out there like trying to find the truth. You're like an investigator. You're like the Columbo for look it up, kid. An old school reference for an old detective. You're like a detective, a private eye out there. And if I'm hearing correctly, because we've been asking you, what do we expect these umpires to do? We expect them to be like CSI and go out there with all the different things to find out for the sticky stuff. So you may have actually found a way for umpires to truly check players to see if there is any sticky stuff that should be illegal.
Yeah, I just really don't like how objective that is. You can see it in their eyes sometimes. I think it's unfair to the umpires. You can see it when they're massaging the hair or when they're touching the hands. They are sitting there wondering what is too sticky. This is slightly sticky. I don't know. And so I've been looking for an objective test. And thanks to 2 people in my life, a reader sent a thing saying that he'd worked with industrial tackiness tests. And so I actually went online and found this and talked to an expert in them. And there are actually machines that apply a loop and then they pull the loop off and they measure the force. You could have baseball say, hey, 6 pounds per square inch is too much. That means it's too sticky. You could have them stick their finger in the machine, in the dugout. It's only $5,000 a machine. It's like a 3-foot machine. Well, it's like a 3-foot machine. It'd be in the dugout. It's a little crazy,
You put seeds and bubble gum on top of it.
Okay, over to the machine, dude. But one thing that I thought of was people could still be clean for the machine. You know what I mean? Clean at the time of the machine and then, not clean afterwards. So another reader and friend and A's fan, if you've been at the park, you've seen her, Dr. Meredith Wills.
Yes.
She's often at the park. She's on your show. And she's developed this idea that gravity becomes the force, right? And gravity is the same in Denver as it is in San Diego. It's not very different. And so gravity is the force. And what you all have to decide is how much weight you want to put on the pitcher's fingers and let gravity pull it off. So we came up with this idea of something like a leather covered, because it has to be leather like the ball, a leather covered wiffle ball, or just a light ball, like an underweight ball. They make these balls that are of different weights. So get an underweight ball, stick it to the pitcher's hands, and if it falls, they're clear. And if it stays stuck, they're banged out of the game. And that's an objective test. And you could even give pitchers the light ball so they could test themselves in the dugout. So everybody could know if this ball stays stuck to your hand, you are out of the game. It's an objective test. It would take seconds, and you couldn't be clean for the machine because he could walk up to you on the mound and be like, hey, time for the ball test.
I absolutely love, like, even if I'm
so
using,
simple.
Even if I'm using Spider Tack, I know how much I can use, right? I've never used Spider Tack before, but I know X amount of Spider, because what you said there is brilliant. The one thing that doesn't change when we're in cold weather, humid weather, windy weather, non-windy weather, elevation, desert,
Wet,
sea
hot,
level,
cold.
Gravity doesn't change on Earth.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that doesn't change. Whatever goes up will come down.
Yeah.
And if you put a ball on their hands and it comes off, then we all just look at you and go, you're out 10
No,
games.
if it stays.
But if it drops,
then you're good. Then you're good.
You're
If it
good.
stays,
You're out 10
yeah,
games.
you're out. Yeah, because
That's
and I like the idea of giving them the tester, so the pitcher can be like, I don't want to get banged. Like, no pitcher wants to get banged. No pitcher wants to do lose 10 days pay. You know what I mean? So you give them balls in the dugout and they can be like, all right, am I too sticky? No, I'm ready to go,
And what it does too for a pitcher, and I'm just thinking about for myself, is, okay, you're not making me go out there naked anymore. We've all admitted that these balls are like cue balls now.
Right.
Even the players,
so some level of stickiness is okay.
Right. Yeah, like even the players have said, you know what, on these cold nights earlier in the year, late in the year, and these guys are throwing 100 miles an hour and they have no feeling. I don't like that as a hitter. I want them to have some type of control over the baseball. So instead of just saying you can't have any stickiness, because we allow hitters to use pine tar. We're just saying there's a degree of the stickiness you can't have, because then there's a big advantage. We want you to have a little bit so you can have some control. Don't go overboard. Here's how we're going to test you.
As an example, if you take a regular ball, just a regular baseball, and you have Spider Tack on your hands, it won't fall off your hands. Spider Tack, like a regular ball, will stay affixed to your hand due to Spider Tack. So, there is some news too. People say, why don't they just have a pre-tacked ball? I have two responses to that. One is, if there is a performance benefit, and there is to adding more stick to your fingers, if there is a performance benefit, people will still do the Spider Tack even if you give them a sticky ball. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a benefit beyond, they'll still do it. Like it won't just stop because you give them a sticky ball. And the other thing is, they've been testing the sticky ball on AA. Yes. Offense is way down, and pitches have tons of ride. There's this one pitcher, Andrew Abbott, who pitches for the Reds, and he has a good strikeout rate, like 10 strikeouts per 9, that sort of deal. He went to AA, got the tacky ball, and had 20 strikeouts per 9 innings. His pitch added like 4 inches of ride. His fastball added like 4 inches of ride when he got the tacky ball. So the tacky ball they're still working on it. My test, they could develop in an off season and have ready for next year, and it wouldn't cost them $5,000 per machine. Meredith's test, that would cost them whatever it costs to make a bunch of light balls.
Well, Dr. Meredith came by and saw us at the Treehouse, and for all the fans out there, we'll be in the Treehouse tomorrow for happy hour. All the great deals, prizes. Come see us at the Treehouse. You'll love it. The drink specials. Come on. It doesn't get any better. She brought one of those balls, one of those AA balls. And just to tell you how sticky they are, when your fingers touch something sticky and you take your fingers off, you hear that sound, right?
Uh-huh.
Right? Because the skin makes the sound when it sticks to something, whether it be like a lollipop or whatever's really sticky, tape, and you go, I could hear my fingers coming off. That's how sticky this AA ball is.
Maybe that one was a little too sticky. Maybe they have to reduce the stickiness on that.
At least we're looking at it, right? We're saying, hey, pitchers, you don't have to put anything on your fingers. We're just going to put it on the ball. But what we're starting to see is, and as you said, that the data is showing that now pitchers are getting way too dominant.
Yeah. So it's, it also has some sort of issues for, I think, some change ups, and, it's not, tackiness is not good for every pitch. And it's just also disconcerting to see the offense just go down, precipitously. I don't know if that's whether due to the movement of the pitches or if the actual sticky ball, like if the ball sticks to the bat, a little bit before it goes out, and that reduces exit velocity. That would be unfortunate. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's something they got to figure out because it's not a good look, when you got a guy on the mound and the umpires come out and he's got to go get a glove, or now they're telling him to wash his hands.
Future Hall of Famer, 10-day suspension.
I mean, it's just not a good. Let me figure it out.
Yeah.
Control your equipment. This is your sport. Other sports do it. Control your equipment. If golf, which has the most equipment of any sport, I mean, it doesn't have more than hockey, but golf, the way everything is tested and you have different players using different manufactured clubs and balls. And, I guess golf would be the only sport where the players control their own ball, because you're using in baseball, football,
I do think there's another sport that might have a simmering issue that people don't think about. The gloves in football.
Yeah, sticky gloves, and they are really sticky.
Are they really monitored? Do you think anybody puts extra stickiness on their glove? Are people using pine tar in football?
I have felt these gloves before, and they're super sticky. And if they were adding any sticky, it could be like a spray, because you're not going to see, because those gloves, a lot of them are white.
Yeah.
The palm part.
So you can't put pine tar on it.
But I don't know if pine tar, you want really kind of that tacky sticky, or because you want it the ball to hit and it just sticks, right? And I know pine tar, or they talk about, the stuff the Raiders used to use, but I mean, that sticky spray, but the gloves are already, when you shake a guy's hand, you hear that, they're already super sticky.
Is it just that football doesn't care? Because
they're made by Nike, who makes all the equipment for the NFL.
Right. And makes great catches, right? Those layout one-handed, the ball's whistling by and the guy just grabs it with one hand. Like, those are somewhat made possible by the equipment, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Those gloves are super sticky. Now, could you make them stickier with ice spray? There's no doubt.
But maybe football just doesn't care. They're like, yeah, we want those highlight reel catches. And I guess the difference, it's good for business. The difference is that's pro offense.
Yeah.
Right? That's pro offense. Whereas in baseball, it's kind of pro defense.
It's pro killing offense.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. It's like we have this mixture of, we kind of don't know what to do. It's like we want to limit the pitchers, but then we want to change rules. Like, we don't want it to go crazy either way, because when it goes crazy the other way, it becomes like pinball. All of a sudden, you got scores that are 12-10. The numbers are through the roof. It's like
we're a little close to that. I mean, it's getting a little close to that with the new rule changes. We're back to almost 2019 when the ball was super flying out and the offense was really high. The average game right now is like a 9.5 run game.
Yeah, you're hitting the overs almost every single night. Not that we talk gambling.
They're partners. They're partners.
We don't want to see like what we see down in AAA with our Las Vegas team. The numbers, you don't know who's good pitcher, good hitters, because the environment, you can't really read it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, and I think, I don't know, it's a philosophical question what the ideal score is, but I don't think it's 9-7. I like 5-3. That's a decent baseball score.
But would you say that the scores getting out of control are mostly based off power?
Yeah, I guess, but we have the shift rule, so there's more. You can rack up some hits, and I do think I think maybe you said this to me, where like things can get out of control a little bit more with the pitch clock, because you're just a ball. You don't have that chance to take a breath and walk around the mound.
On the mound, let's go, speed it up, and when things start going haywire,
it's just keep going.
Haywire. I mean, we just saw it the other night with Trevor May when he was coming back from,
and he's talked about that
anxiety, and all of a sudden he's hitting France. Almost hits him in the head. Then a couple batters later, bang, he gets Suarez in the back, and you're like, oh my! And he's talked about the clock. You get worried about that. And you look at yesterday. I don't know if you can see yesterday's game. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But Waldichuk goes out, strikes out the side. He
looked like he was dealing.
It was J-Rod, Suarez, and Kelenic, and then the next inning,
just 5 runs.
it got out of control so
walks. Yeah.
And a lot has to do with the clock because it goes so fast before you know it. It's like you've given up 5 runs and you're coming out of the game.
Yeah. No chance to kind of reset.
I do like that.
Maybe they should have pitcher timeouts.
I like the fact that you got to make guys in the NBA get the ball across half court by a certain point. We make you shoot by a certain point. In the NFL, we make you snap. We make you snap the ball by a certain point. And I love how people go, are we going to use the clock in the playoffs in the World Series? Don't they have a clock in the Super Bowl, the most watched game? Tom Brady's always had to get that ball off by a certain point. So I do like that. It's like you got to manage. You got to make. If this is not just, okay, timeout, I get to have a breather.
Can you imagine? Just a pitcher sitting down on the mound being like, I need a second, guys. Just give me a second.
Does anybody have an orange in a juice spot? I mean, I think we're kind of realizing like how ridiculous it's been in baseball for the last 100-something years where we can just like, everybody, I just need to step off the mound and gather myself. No, let's go, buddy. We're playing the game. By the way, speaking of old school, you had Trout catching guys in WAR, and you start talking about DiMaggio and Griffey. And I want to get a little love to the old guys because it's so easy now for the new guard to go, oh, DiMaggio didn't have to face all these pitchers. DiMaggio didn't have to face all these guys throwing his hard. And I go, okay, yeah, you're right. There's no doubt about that. But I made a great point to Cody, so I want to make it to you. Shohei Ohtani would not be Shohei Ohtani today. You want to know why? His pitching career would have been over.
Yeah, like Babe Ruth, they would have told him to stop pitching?
No, he would have had a hurt elbow and couldn't pitch anymore.
Oh, that's right. Tommy John.
Wait a minute. Babe Ruth had Tommy John?
No. I'm just saying, like.
Babe, did they have arthroscopic surgery?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Did they have so all these smart analytic guys who want to throw all the great yesteryear players under the bus, all these pitchers getting Tommy John, their careers would have been over because there was no Tommy John. All these guys having surgery on their shoulders would be gone because they didn't have that. Knees gone. Mickey Mantle had to play with the bad knees and the bad surgeries. So it's like, I mean, so when you're talking, oh, Mike Trout's way better than Joe DiMaggio, Mike Trout hasn't been able to stay all that healthy. So if you took Mike Trout without all the trainers and plyometrics and all the stuff around Mike Trout and put Mike Trout back with Joe DiMaggio, put Mike Trout in Yankee Stadium, which was horrible for a right-hand hitter. I'm just trying to be fair. I love Trout, but I'm just trying to be fair to Joe D also.
Yeah, I mean, there's this, 24th on the career all-time WAR list is Cal Ripken. And, in terms of his batting line, 276, 340, 447, that's not a Hall of Fame batting line by itself, right? And in terms of his defense, he wasn't Ozzie Smith. He's in the Hall because he posted, He played 3,001 games. Only 9 players played more games than him, and he played them all in a row. So, like,
crazy.
Like,
every day, man. You knew every day I got Cal. I got him every day. And I've always said, and I learned this working in the NFL, the best ability is availability.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Albert Pujols, though, that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. 5th most games of all time.
You can tell me how great Buxton Byron is, but I never know what that guy's going to play. And I can't even put him in the field now because they're trying to get this guy just to play 100 games.
Yeah.
Terrific athlete. So, I mean, there's something to be said about the yesteryear guys. Yes, I think Trout's amazing. He's going to go down as one of the greats. But when everybody starts to like, oh, the yesteryear guys, are like, those guys didn't travel by jets. Those guys had wool uniforms playing in, and there's a lot of things you can say about them, but what they had is nowhere near what the guys today have, and the guys today have a hard time staying healthy with all the technology and the surgeries and all the special advancements in what we look at from medical to procedures to everything. It's amazing what athletes have today that they didn't have in yesteryear. Just saying.
And but one of the things that I really like also when I look back at somebody, is something like Eckersley, where you like really show the ability to change. and you just really step into a different part of your career and find a different way. Like, Ricky, didn't quite hit those 28, 30 homers in the back end of his career, but he got on base like a maniac and still stole bases and still played good corner outfield defense, So like, I really respect when somebody finds like a sort of second level, like Dennis Eckersley, really good starter for a while. It started to peter out a little bit. Was injury a part of that? Like, what was the transition there for him? Like, I don't know all the history, but
he battled addiction with alcohol. There was things that went on beyond just physical. Yeah, but he definitely went through. He needed something different to change his career.
And then he was like a Hall of Fame closer. He had like 2 careers, So maybe not quite Hall of Fame starter, maybe not quite Hall of Fame closer, but if you put them together, it's a Hall of Fame type career. And I love that sort of growth mindset when somebody shows the ability to, it shows that they care about baseball and they want to stick in it and they're willing to do anything to stay in it. And they're willing to continue to evolve and change and do what it takes to stay in baseball, as opposed to just sitting there and being like, this is what I've always done. I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done.
It's what impresses me about you so much, to where you can go from hazy, you can have IPAs, you can switch to Pilsner when it gets hot. I mean,
it's real hard. It's real tough work.
You're like a chameleon. Your ability to change throughout the years. I mean, most guys just go, I drink one beer and this is it. Not you, my friend. You can change throughout the year. I mean, you'd be called a 5-tool guy in the beer world.
5-tool beer drinker. That's me. That's me.
Right?
Yeah.
You'd be on my Mount Rushmore.
Thanks very much.
Great stuff this week. Let's can we get the man? Can we get the greatness? Go ahead.
The Eno Sarris Show is sponsored by Fieldwork Brewing Company. With 8 taproom locations in Northern California, Fieldwork brings you fresh craft beer direct from the source. Fieldwork will also ship beer direct to your door if you live in California. Visit fieldworkbrewing.com.
By the way, Eno, your kids are going to be going to college someday. We need to patent this ball with leather that.
College would be like $100,000 a year by the time they get there.
I mean, can you imagine that? Like, you sell this to Major League Baseball, you're like laughing at the Athletic. Yeah, you could be rich, my friend. We need to figure this one out.
Get Dr. Meredith on the phone.
All right, buddy, take care.
All right, thanks for having me.
And that'll do it for A's Cast Live today. We want to thank Mark Simon from Sports Info Solutions and Eno Sarris of The Athletic. We'll be back tomorrow for A's Cast Live at 4 o'clock. In the Treehouse, come join us in the Treehouse for the Treehouse Happy Hour. Townie and myself will be up there. We're going to have Najee Harris, Steelers running back and Antioch native, Mark Kotze, Lucas Irsig, and hopefully Ryan Stanek of the Houston Astros, good friend of the program. Johnny D standing by for A's Total Access, brought to you by Chevron, and Jessica Kleinschmidt, myself, and Townie will be back for A's Clubhouse after the game. Have a good night, everyone.
This is Chris Townsend. There are 2 things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf,